They said Bitcoin would set you free. Free from banks, from governments, from a system that keeps expanding itself by endlessly printing money. But history always teaches the same lesson. Freedom is never free. When rules disappear, when oversight fades, and when referees leave the stage, what remains is not a true utopia. It is chaos disguised as opportunity. This is where financial history converges, where money, power, and human nature collide. And here, nothing is ever as simple as it seems. To understand Bitcoin, we have to go back to 2008, to that critical moment when trust was shaken and the system began to unravel. The financial crisis revealed just how fragile the modern economy truly was. When Lehman Brothers went bankrupt, the world realized something crucial. Those in charge were not actually in control. Worse still, they were not accountable. Central banks printed trillions of dollars. But the ones who were saved were not ordinary people. It was the very institutions that had caused the collapse. Millions lost their homes. Jobs vanished. Years of savings were erased. In that moment, it became clear that the financial system was not built on solid foundations, but on fragile trust. And in the middle of that chaos, an unknown figure appeared, Satoshi Nakamoto. He published just a 9-page paper, but within it was one of the most radical ideas in modern finance: a monetary system without the state. Bitcoin was designed to function without banks. Transactions would be verified not by people, but by mathematics. The supply would be permanently capped at 21 million coins. No central bank, no inflation, no manipulation. Every transaction would be recorded on a public ledger, the blockchain, a system that could not be altered or erased. This was not just technology. It was a rebellion written in code. In 2009, the first block was created, the Genesis block. Hidden within it was a message. January 3, 2009, Chancellor on brink of second bailout for banks. It was more than a timestamp. It was a direct challenge to the existing order. Even the concept of mining was redefined. Instead of digging into the ground, computers solved complex mathematical problems. Each solution added a new block to the chain, and the one who solved it was rewarded with Bitcoin. One of the most striking aspects of this system was its independence from any central authority. Thousands of computers worked simultaneously, verifying transactions and securing the network. No government, no bank. Only mathematics. Early believers quickly embraced the idea. Programmers, economists, libertarians. Bitcoin was traded on small online forums, worth almost nothing, until someone decided to use it in the real world. Laszlo Hanyecz. He bought 2 pizzas for 10,000 Bitcoin. At today's prices, that amounts to hundreds of millions of dollars, perhaps the most expensive meal in history. But like every revolution, this system had to confront human nature. By 2013, Bitcoin's value surged. Speculators flooded the market. Crypto exchanges expanded rapidly. Mr. Gox quickly became a dominant platform. And then the inevitable happened. The system collapsed. 850,000 Bitcoin disappeared. Hundreds of millions of dollars vanished overnight. There was no authority to call, no institution to hold accountable. The money was gone, and there was no way to recover it. The blockchain recorded everything, but it could not restore anything. This exposed Bitcoin's greatest contradiction. Removing intermediaries also removes protection. In Bitcoin, every transaction is final. It cannot be reversed. It cannot be corrected. As the crypto world expanded, so did the risks. Scams, fake projects, hacks. Billions of dollars evaporated. Yes, the blockchain is transparent. We can see where the money goes, but we cannot get it back. Hardware wallets can protect you from external attacks, but not from your own mistakes. Send money to the wrong address and it is lost forever. This is the true choice Bitcoin presents: freedom or security. You cannot have both. In 2021, one country decided to test this idea at a national level. El Salvador President Nayib Bukele called it a revolution. Bitcoin became legal tender. At first, everything seemed promising. The government launched apps. Bitcoin was distributed to citizens. But reality emerged quickly. People did not want to use a volatile asset for everyday purchases. What they needed was stability. When Bitcoin's price dropped, trust followed. The result became complex. Bitcoin remained, but society did not transform. This experiment revealed a crucial truth. Bitcoin is not a system, it is a tool, and like any tool, its effectiveness depends on the knowledge and discipline of its user. Meanwhile, a new form of power emerged, the whales. Large investors controlling vast amounts of Bitcoin. Today, a significant portion of the supply is held by a very small number of wallets. For a system that claims decentralization, this presents a serious contradiction. Because power did not disappear, it simply redistributed itself. By 2025, Bitcoin still exists, but it is no longer just technology. It is an idea, a symbol, a mirror, a reflection of human nature. When Donald Trump supported crypto, markets surged again, investments increased, new projects emerged, but the story did not change. The promise of freedom merged with speculation, because in the absence of order, chaos can easily disguise itself as liberty. Bitcoin may be technically flawless, but human nature is not. The crypto world has a simple motto: don't trust, verify. But this is not for everyone. Most people do not want to manage complex keys. They want safety, not responsibility. And this is where the system begins to fracture. Bitcoin achieved something extraordinary. It proved that money can exist without the state, but it also raised a deeper question. Can freedom without rules be sustained? Bitcoin has survived criticism, bubbles, crashes, and imitators, but its greatest challenge is not technical, it is moral. Because where there are no laws, power does not disappear. It only changes hands, from banks to large investors, from policies to algorithms. Bitcoin's true legacy is not purely financial, it is philosophical. It forces us to ask, what is money really? And can it ever be separated from power? Because the truth is simple, power never vanishes. It only takes a new form. Bitcoin succeeded in creating money beyond the state, but in doing so it revealed a deeper reality. When regulators disappear, the powerful do not vanish. They simply change wallets.